So, welcome to the Courageous Nerd YouTube channel. My name is Connor, and joining me today is Gianni DeCenzo from Cobra Kai. Gianni, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. We just finished doing a real difficult game, in
Yeah,
my opinion. I got the
right.
lowest score, and I was the first one to do it. But I'm doing good. Thank you for having
Yeah.
me.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm supposed to explain to anyone who doesn't know what Gianni's talking about. So we just did a 60-second hot seat round. We won't go into exactly what you scored because obviously people can go and check it out for themselves. But I mean, I take it you weren't very happy with how you did.
I mean, I think I had some good answers, but I think I took too long explaining myself. I have a tendency to overshare, but yeah, no, I'm happy. If I get the
Yeah.
lowest score ever, that will also be a record, in my opinion.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, if you haven't already come from that video, be sure to go and check that out, see how Gianni did. But yeah, welcome to this main interview portion, I guess. But we were saying as well off camera, off recording. Last time you and I spoke was in January of 2022, so it's been a long time.
It's been a minute. I guess have a habit of doing that once a year.
Yeah,
We'll meet up and talk, and then we'll be like, "Oh, it's been so long."
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I guess I'll see you again in 2024
yeah, yeah, yeah.
after season 6 comes out,
Yeah, yeah.
maybe.
We'll put it in the calendar. Yeah. Yeah. Hang
Yeah,
on. It's about that time. I need to get on a Zoom with
yeah,
Gianni. Yeah.
yeah. We got to finish that conversation that we had 3 years ago. Yeah, great.
Yeah. And actually, obviously, yeah, because this is the third interview, and you've tied the record for most appearances of people I've interviewed. Like the all-time record is three. It's now a three-way tie of three people on three appearances. So someone has to break it. Someone has to do number four. So we'll see what happens. But yeah.
All right, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll beat
Yeah.
them, and then they'll I guess do a fourth one. Then it'll just be forever. We'll just
Yeah.
keep beating each other's record.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I suppose like in a more general sense, so like what have you been up to since January 2022 when we last spoke?
What have I been up to? I've been taking writing classes. I'm working on some ideas of my own that I eventually want to turn into TV shows, graphic novels, movies, all that jazz. We're gearing up for season 6 of Cobra Kai, which is, unfortunately, it's kind of
Yeah.
bittersweet. The last season of Cobra Kai. I think we're ending on a really strong note, and we're not going to let it, you know, go past its expiration date. Like so many shows do. We're ending it on a high, and I think
Mm.
that that's really great. But yeah, I've just been, working out, trying to get back into some sort of flexible shape for Cobra Kai. Yeah, it's
Mm.
been great. I'm
Yeah.
living.
Oh, for sure. And like, how far ahead, by the way, like did the cast know it'd be the last season? Because I'm just imagining someone opening up Deadline Hollywood and saying, "Oh snap, wait, it's finishing." Well,
We kind of figured when we started it, it would go either between 6 or 8 seasons,
right.
most likely 6. So I think that everything's been pretty on track. I don't think anybody was blindsided by any of it.
Hmm.
I know that that does happen a lot, where like you're
Yeah.
just driving along and all of a sudden you see, oh no, TV show canceled, and you're like, what? The production didn't tell me about that. Okay.
Yeah.
No, we got a great team. They don't blindside us like that, thankfully. Yeah, but it's bittersweet, like I said.
Mm. Oh, for sure, yeah. And by the time, like, obviously the last season finishes, you would have played Demetri for 6 seasons, for 6 years, and obviously, in that time, obviously you've gotten 6 years older. It's been less time for Demetri. So, like, are you sad to let him go, like, or are you excited to move on to new things?
Yeah, like you said, I've been doing it for 6 years. I started this when I was 15. I'm 21 now.
Mm.
I am kind of sad just because it's like, I love playing the role. I love being on the show. And I love going to set and working with people, but that's life. You do
Yeah.
one thing and you move on to the next. I've created a lot of great relationships with people. I love my castmates. I love the creators of the show. And I love getting to meet all the great fans out there because I'm just as big of a fan of the show as
Mm.
anybody else. So
That's
getting to
awesome.
share my work with others, it's been great. And yeah, I look forward to moving on to the next project. And I don't know, keep an eye out, look for
Mm.
that stuff. It's going to be fun. I have ideas for the future. for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. And I actually can't remember which one of the previous interviews it was, but in one of them we spoke about the concept of you becoming a series regular in season two. Obviously, you got upped to that after the first season. So, like back in season
Mhm.
one, were you like aware of any long-term plans for Demetri, or like did you think, "Oh, I'll get a few episodes, and if it does come back, I'm not guaranteed to come back with it."
So when I did the audition for Dimitri, I just did a one like this one single scene. It was
Mm,
the cafeteria scene where we first meet him, and
mm,
I had no idea what the character would become at the time of auditioning. And even when I was doing it, I was like, I don't know what could happen. I mean, there's a lot that could happen with the character. I think that there's so much that you could explore, but I wasn't really sure where they wanted to go. And then when I got the word that they wanted me to be a series regular in season two, I was like, all right,
mm,
I'm here now. I'm in it. I guess I gotta, start training some more.
mm.
And I was always jealous in season one of like the other kids getting to like do karate and train in that. I was like, damn, I really want to try that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
getting in season two, I was like, okay,
Mm,
awesome. I get to do stuff. Yeah, and it's been great ever since. I've had a lot of fun, and I love where they've taken the character. It's been a
mm.
cool collaborative project.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And obviously, I'm not just saying this because of who I'm talking to, but I think definitely in season one, like you and Jacob, I think were the ones where, okay, yeah, if they get a season two, that they have to keep them around, kind of thing. Like, that's an obvious thing to do. Like, yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, it'd have been crazy if they said, actually, no, Dimitri, Eli, great season one characters, but that's it. Like that'd been
Yeah,
ridiculous. You had to keep them around. Like that was the obvious move to make,
yeah.
in my opinion. But yeah,
Yeah, I think that it was a great move to make those two characters, more involved in the story because I think that they do have a lot to offer to the overall plot. And yeah, I love all the characters. I love the way that they interact with each other. I love how we have so many different stories and characters growing and learning
mm,
from each other. It's become a really great ensemble.
yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And I love how like, unexpected the show can be at times. Because again, in that first cafeteria scene, where you meet Dimitri. No one was probably thinking, oh, this kid is going to end up being effectively the protege of Daniel LaRusso, like the first like non-family protege, really, right? Kind of
Uh,
join. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not know that it was going to go that way, that he'd be getting the sort of Miyagi training
Mm,
montage, of course, with a Dimitri spin on it, very sarcastic and talking back like he always does. But yeah, it really is cool seeing like season one Dimitri versus him now. I think he's grown so much without really compromising who he is as a person. I think he's just, yeah, he's evolved into a more confident and more capable person. And yeah, I love playing him. It's
mm.
great.
For sure, yeah, and obviously, we briefly mentioned Eli, or and I think definitely, the two characters and you and Jacob Bertrand are kind of intrinsically linked on this show. You can't really separate those two journeys. But and I've always wondered in a situation like that, do you think that your kind of association on Cobra Kai, if you were to do another project with Jacob, like, do you think, I mean, would that be interesting to do? Just play completely different characters and explore a whole different dynamic with him on a different project.
I'll never work with him again. He's a crazy person. No, no, I'm kidding. No, I did love working with him. Or I still do love working with him. I think it would be really cool to do like an alternative project. Maybe he could play the nerd and I'll play the cool guy for a change.
Mm,
That could be interesting. Or maybe there's a spin-off down the road. I know that they've been talking about them for a while now. Maybe a Binary Bros. I don't
mm,
know. I mean, that's really the cool thing about acting is that you get to do all these great projects and it is kind of a small net community. So you get to work with a lot of the same people sometimes. And yeah, I think that we all work pretty well together, despite the fact that he breaks my arm. But
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it can't be helped. But yeah, I would definitely love to be in another project with him. It would be cool.
Mm. Yeah, no, and that's actually something I remember us talking about as well, that arm breaking scene. Because I remember us saying, like, friends drift apart, but like normally the friendship doesn't end by someone's arm getting broken. That's a pretty drastic way to say, actually, like, I'd rather move on and hang out with other people. Like, no, that's like yeah, I remember us talking about that, just kind of the severity
Yeah.
of that moment. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty low point, I think, in our friendship for sure.
Mm,
I'm glad that they were able to work it out so quickly, almost as fast as Dimitri's arm healed. So that's pretty
yeah.
cool.
Mm,
I think that Hawk is definitely better off now with the Miyagi-Do team. He's not being
yeah.
coerced into breaking limbs anymore. So I think that's a step in the right direction for him,
Mm.
for sure.
But was that a difficult like twist to keep under your hat, that they'd reunite? Because obviously that happened at the very end of that season, and obviously I'm sure I can't really remember at the time people were saying, "Oh, like will Hawk kind of turn back into the good version of himself?" Like was that something you'd keep under wraps at the time? I can't really remember.
Yeah, I have to keep any sort of spoiler secrets under wraps, of fear of them beating me up.
Right.
I try my best. It is difficult because there are some like really good details that's like, oh, I wish I could share this with you guys, but it's such a great payoff when you wait and you don't spoil it, and people like discover it on their own and they get to experience it themselves. But yeah, it definitely can be a challenge sometimes keeping those spoilers to myself. We got some good ones coming up in this sixth season that I can't say, but
Hmm.
it's really interesting.
But yeah, I suppose without giving too much away, and like you touched on this a bit briefly, but obviously Dimitri's upcoming storylines will be, I guess, wrapping up the character. So, in terms of what you've seen, like, would you have called it like anything that's happening, or it's taken you by surprise? Like, so obviously, again, it's kind of like ending the character's arc, so it's a big deal,
Mhm.
right? In this particular storyline.
Yeah, I mean, I've loved seeing the way that Dimitri goes, and I am curious to see how they're going to kind of wrap it up for honestly everyone in general.
Mm,
I just kind of want to see him continue to develop his fighting skills, continue his relationship with Yasmin, and I can't wait to see what happens with the Sekai Tekai. That's it's going to be real interesting. That's going to be a
mm,
doozy. But I can't say anything. I can't spoil anything because, like I said, they'll beat me up and kill me.
mm,
But yeah, I think it's going to be real interesting.
mm. For sure, and I guess like on that note, and it's the last question I've got prepared, but in like a general sense, like what would you want to say to fans of Cobra Kai who've been along the journey for, well, 5, almost 6 years?
I mean, just thank you for being there throughout all of that, and thank you for those that were also there during our YouTube days. It was very
Mm,
difficult to get people, like have an outreach there, but we had a pretty loyal fan base there too. And I think we just have such a great committed group of people, and I'm glad that they love the show as much as I love making it. And
yeah,
yeah, I'm glad that we didn't butcher the original Karate Kid for you guys.
yeah,
Because I know that that was a bit of a concern at first, and I think that we've done good. All thanks to the creators. They're just as big fans of the OG series as anybody else, so they did
yeah.
their best to make it work, and I think they did great.
No, yeah, I think the show definitely honored the legacy of the film series, and it expanded, helped it grow, and yeah, I suppose best of luck going forward into season 6 and beyond. And thank you again for taking the time to chat. Really great to see you again.
Yeah, thank you so much. I guess I'll see you again in 2024. We'll talk about how long it's been.
See you then. All the best.
See ya.